What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Chin here again today from Nothing But Facts. Hope you guys have been having a wonderful week. I hope you guys have watched all my videos thus far. Today, we are going to be talking about our week 2 matchups. We have some really good week 2 matchups. I know some people are going to feel like, hey, week 2 is not so great, but week 2, trust me, we have some really good matchups. I'm going to break them down, talk to us about what we should expect, what we should look for, and of course, what are we going to see? It's week 2. We're still trying to see the pretenders and the contenders, but week 2 is also a very important pivotal place for teams who have lost in week 1. You don't want to lose back-to-back games. Your locker room, morale, fan support, all these different variables and factors are at play if you go 0-2 in back-to-back weeks. We don't want to see that happen. Today, we're going to break down a couple of games. We got a lot of games lined up. I want to go through each game on which game I believe is going to be the best for our viewers. And we're going to start off our first game 11 a.m. Central on the CDW network. We have the Baylor Bears going on the road against the SMU Mustangs. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, Baylor is, they're not favored to win this game. According to the ESPN predictor, the matchup predictor on ESPN has SMU at a 67% chance of winning this game. I think we should be a little bit careful. Right, I understand that SMU is a great team with Kevin Jennings. I understand they had a monstrous week 1 win against East Texas A&M, but Baylor played a tough game last week. Okay, Baylor played Auburn last week, an Auburn team that I have been very, very expressive about how they have to improve on defense, just overall, and that defense looks so good. So I am not too sure about this 33% chance about Baylor. Okay, that Baylor team was a couple of plays away from winning their opening game last week against Auburn. So, I get it. Kevin Jennings isn't my guy. I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the country. But Sawyer Robertson also is a dueler. Okay, Sawyer Robertson is also a dueler. He's also a dueler. And they also have to deal with Sir Cole Wilson, because he was unguardable last week out of Katy, Texas. Shout out Katy, Texas. That's where I live in Katy. So, he was a Texas State transfer. This guy came in. Jake Spavital was the OC at Texas State. He came to Baylor. He transferred in from Texas State, and he went off last week against Auburn. 8 catches, 134 yards. So, if you're SMU, yeah, you had a good week 1 win, but Baylor's hungry. Baylor has played now the SEC. Now they're going to play the ACC. So don't tell me about the Big 12 and scheduling, because it seems like the Baylor Bears know what they're doing. I would not be surprised if Baylor wins this game. I think Dave Aranda is going to have his guys motivated and ready to play. There's no way they start the season 0-2. As much as I love SMU and Kevin Jennings and Rhett Lashley and the SMU Mustangs, I think the Baylor Bears find a way to pull this game out late in the fourth quarter. I think Baylor wins this game. They avoid going 0-2, and they hand SMU their first loss of the season. I think that was a good breakdown. Moving right along, we have the Ole Miss Rebels going on the road, 3:30, 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time, ABC matchup. Number 20 Ole Miss going on the road against Kentucky. This game last year was in Oxford, and Kentucky, I don't know how the hell they found a way and won this game, but they did. It was a low-scoring, nasty, sluggish affair, but Kentucky found a way to beat this team last year. And this Ole Miss team, if you haven't watched Ole Miss in the last couple of years, Ole Miss has always been that program that's just always been a couple wins away, a couple pieces away, a couple players away, whatever the case is away. And last year, I felt was their best opportunity to compete for a college football playoff. They had a defense. Pete Golding had his guys going, and just Jackson Dart was just almost he just was at an all-time high. Now you're a year removed, and as Ole Miss, you look at it, you're almost in the same position, right? With the whole transfer portal class, this, that, and the third. But I think it's a little bit different because Austin Simmons is a really good quarterback. And I know the numbers will make you feel a different type of way. But the 2 interceptions, one of them was, wasn't directly his fault. Of course, they're going to show up on the stat line. But I really like Austin Simmons. I like this Ole Miss team. I think Ole Miss is quietly going to sneak up on people. I think this team is good enough to compete in the SEC and potentially get to Atlanta for the SEC championship. If you are Lane Kiffin, you are putting this game, the result of how this game ended last year, you are showing this in a locker room every single day, because what happened last year was unacceptable, inexcusable. The turnovers, the lack of effort, and Kentucky won 4 games last year, y'all. Kentucky was one of the worst. I saw Kentucky play in Austin against Texas. They were one of the worst Power 5 teams in the country last year. So best believe Austin Simmons and this Ole Miss team is going to be ready to go. And Kentucky, I don't know. Like, I have a love-hate relationship with Mark Stoops. I think he's a really good coach. I think, given Kentucky, I have never been to the state of Kentucky. I don't hate any of y'all. I've never met, I've met some people from Kentucky. I've never been there. So I don't know what type of recruiting job that is. I don't know the difficulty, but all I know is Zach Calzada is not him, bro. And he's a 1-year rental, and he's been doing these 1-year rentals for 5-6 years now. It's sort of been like, when will Mark Stoops get his guy? It was Zach Calzada last year, Brock Vandergrift the year before, Terry Wilson. Oh my goodness! Like, when is Kentucky gonna recruit a quarterback? I think Ole Miss finds a way to win this game, and I think they will. I think they won this game in massive fashion because they remember what happened last year. Moving right along, we have another Big Ten ACC matchup. Illinois on the road against Duke. This is a really interesting game. We have 2 quarterbacks, in my opinion, two guys who are, really good. And I think Luke Altmaier, for what it's worth, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Of course, Darian Mensah. If you're not too sure about Darian Mensah is one of the highest paid NIL quarterbacks in the country, just under $4 million a year. And he had a fantastic game last week against Elon. Now, I know some people, if you didn't watch that Elon versus Duke game, I was a little bit nervous. I saw Elon getting close and finding ways to make the game close. But Duke and Manny Diaz, his group, they found a way to separate and get the win. That's all that matters. This Illinois team is really, really good. I've been high on Illinois all year long. I've been really high on the potential that they have. I understand they lost Josh McCray to the transfer portal to Georgia, but this Illinois team, y'all, how Brett Bielema, their head coach, how he's built this Illinois team. They're physical, they're big, they're fast, their O-line moves people. They really invested, and they're really making sure that they're going to run the football. And that's one thing you understand and about the Big Ten is they're going to run that rock. And I don't know if Duke has those players. I don't know if Duke has the personnel to match up with Illinois for 4 quarters. And I could be wrong, but just what I've seen Illinois do in the transfer portal, the respect I have for Brett Bielema, I think Illinois finds a way to win this game on the road. It's going to be tough because Darian Mensah is a baller. Darian Mensah is a baller. Okay, I don't want to. If you haven't seen him play, go put the highlights on. Darian Mensah could throw the football. So if you're Illinois, you're going to this game understanding, hey, we could lose this game if Darian Mensah goes crazy. But if we contain Darian Mensah, we have a fighting chance. But I do think Illinois' physicality, how they run the football, I think Illinois finds a way to win the football game. Wow, we're moving right along. We got a couple more games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more games to go. Okay. Our next matchup, we have the Stanford Cardinal going on the road against BYU. Bear Bachmeier, the BYU starting quarterback, going against his former team. His brother is a wide receiver at Stanford, a whole family affair. Let's jump right into it. ESPN Matchup Predictor has BYU at a 89.2% chance of winning this football game. I would not trust that if I were you. I would not trust that if I were you. I would not, because we have to understand road games in college football, while they are very, very difficult, you can go into that opposing stadium, run the football for if you're Stanford 25, 35, 45 times for 200 yards, and that stadium is going to be quiet. If that is your plan for this football game, because if you didn't watch Stanford play Hawaii, I need you to go watch that game, because Stanford had opportunities to run the football. And they were getting yards of pop. They were getting those positive plays. I just think Ben Branson's play as the quarterback was just a little bit underwhelming. Just a little bit underwhelming. I'm not saying Stanford's going to win this game, but I do think this game is going to be a lot more competitive than what the predictor thinks. And trust me, Chase Roberts is my guy. Chase Roberts, the wide receiver at BYU, he's my guy. LJ Martin is my guy. He's my guy. LJ Martin is my guy. 6'2", 220 pound from El Paso. This is my guy. He's my guy. But all I'm saying is I do believe Stanford is good enough to make this game competitive. Let me not say they're good, but they're good enough to make this game competitive. Okay, so I see the line. I see BYU 89%. I see it. And BYU isn't ranked as well. But I think for what it's worth, week 2, you blew the doors off of Portland State. You put up 69 on Portland State. Now it's time for you to have great matchup in Stanford. I think BYU finds a way to win this football game. Moving on. We have our SEC versus Big 12 matchup. We have the Kansas Jayhawks going against the Missouri Tigers. Kansas is 2-0. I mean, they've played Wagner and Fresno State so far. And Mizzou last week played Central Arkansas, I believe. It was Central Arkansas. And for what it's worth, these two teams I think, are in a really interesting position. I think Kansas is in the most interesting position. I think for Kansas, how their season unraveled last year, the hype that this team had going into 2024, everyone and their mother talking about Lance Leopold, what he's doing at Kansas, rebuilding, Jalen Daniels, all these things. We've heard it all. And last year was a dud. I know they had ranked wins against Big 12 opponents. I get it. But last year was a dud. Kansas went 5-7. And for this team this year, their goal is the Big 12 championship. Their goal is to play in Dallas on December the 6th. And I know this is a non-conference game. This is a Big 12 versus SEC game. But if you're Kansas, when you need some confidence going into Big 12 play, Missouri is that game where you can build confidence 100% on the road, fair field, SEC country. I think this is a great opportunity for both teams. If you're Missouri, you're looking at it as, hey, we played Central Arkansas week 1. Now we have a quality opponent in Kansas, Power 5 at home, and we're going against a quarterback that has 9 incompletions and 7 touchdowns. So I'm gonna lean Kansas. Okay, I'm gonna lean Kansas because I trust in Jalen Daniels. I understand Bo Perbula had a good game. Ahmad Hardy, there running back, the transfer from University of Louisiana Monroe. I know he had a fantastic game last week, but I'm gonna trust Daniel Highshaw. I'm gonna trust Jalen Daniels. I'm gonna trust this Kansas team to go on the road in SEC country and get the win against the Missouri Tigers. And I know you're going to look at me crazy. The line is 6.5, but I can see Kansas going into this game and finding a way to win. Now, they're going to have to cover Marquise Johnson. They're going to have to cover Marquise Johnson, okay? They're going to have to find a way to cover Marquise Johnson because he's a problem. I've been watching him since he was a freshman. Marquise Johnson is the truth. Since he was a freshman, Marquise Johnson was the truth. Okay? So he's already up. He's already up big in 2025. He was behind Theo Weiss. He was behind Luther Burden. But when push comes to shove, Marquise Johnson is about that money. He's like that. So I'll lean Kansas, but they're gonna have to find a way to stop Marquise Johnson, number 2, because he's a problem. He's a problem. Moving right along, a very sexy matchup that I really like. No one's talking about. I haven't really heard anything about it. Is we have the Bruins of UCLA going on the road in group of 5 country against the UNLV Rebels. A 45-minute flight from LAX to Los Angeles to Las Vegas. So nothing crazy for UCLA. But this is a big game for UCLA. UCLA is coming off of a major loss, an embarrassing loss at home last week against Utah. Devon Dampier and Utah came in there and put 40 on them. Okay, if you're Deshaun Foster, you're the UCLA Bruins, you're trying to change the narrative of your program in the Big Ten. You're trying to change the narrative to recruits and all those things. You need to get this win. Nico Iamaleava cannot go 11 of 22. That is inexcusable and unacceptable. Okay, we saw the NIL numbers that y'all paid him. And I don't like to go there. I'm not going to go there, but we saw what y'all gave Nico. Okay, 11 of 22 is unacceptable. That can't happen. So we need to, and he cannot be he can't be your leading ball carrier. He can't go 50% passing and then lead you in carries. That's a recipe for disaster. But you know who's a baller for UNLV? My guy right here, Anthony Calandria. Anthony Calandria been balling since he was at Virginia. Since he was at Virginia, he has been balling. And no one's going to give him credit because Virginia wasn't the best. But when you turn the tape on, number 10 is a gamer. Okay, I like I said, Virginia wasn't, they weren't the best team, but I can remember a couple of games last year vividly against Louisville. Bro, Anthony Calandria is a gamer. So let's not get it twisted here. UCLA could easily start their season 0-2. And Deshaun Foster does not want that. That's not what he wants up down there in Los Angeles. He doesn't want his team starting 0-2. I think UCLA finds a way to get this W. It's going to be tough. I think they bring UNLV back down to earth. They've had 2 wins, close wins last week against Sam Houston State. UNLV took their foot off the gas. 2 weeks ago, they had a scare against Idaho State. I think UCLA this week brings them down to earth. I got UCLA taking the dub over UNLV. Going to be a great game, 7 p.m. on CBS Central. 2 more games. I have to catch a flight at 6 a.m. Lord. 2 more games. We have the Big 12 against the SEC. Lord have mercy. It's going to be a great weekend. We have my guy Sam the Man Levitt going against Blake Shapen and the Missouri Tigers. Blake Shapen had a fantastic game last week against Southern Miss. Just absolutely diced them up. 26 of 33, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. We knew when Jeff Lebby got his quarterback, we just knew they were going to just look good. We just knew Jeff Lebby was going to make his guys look good because that's what Jeff Lebby does. Like, he's a quarterback guru. He's done it at Oklahoma. He's done it everywhere. So it was just a matter of time. And I'm not about to sit here and say Mississippi State might win the SEC and all that, but they look good for week 1. It was good, and we got to give them credit. But they have a major problem coming into their hands on Saturday. They have the Arizona State Sun Devils ranked in the top 25. They have a lot of firepower. Jordan Tyson, Kai Udo, and the man himself, Sam Levitt. He is a problem. Let's break this game down. I really think Arizona State is one of the best teams in the Big 12. I've said this. I believe this. I don't doubt this. From a talent standpoint, I think they have everything that it takes for them to win the Big 12. And also, I think they have a quarterback that allows them to be that dynamic in order for them to win the Big 12. So this game is going to be close now, right? 5.5 underdog, whatever. Over-under is just about 60. But this is SEC country. right? The cowbells are going to be ringing. This is going to be a nasty game. Like, I don't want people to think this is going to be a walk in the park. Arizona State is going to struggle. Okay, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle. This game was close last year in Tucson. It came down to a couple of plays, right? But Sam Leavitt found a way to get the job done. I think Mississippi State and Jeff Lebby get their first signature win. I think this early in the season, right, when you're playing almost with the high, right? When the season starts, when you win your week one, you're almost like high. You're like, man, I feel invincible. And you have a ranked team coming to town at home opener. I could only imagine what Starkville, Mississippi is going to look like. I could only imagine what them cowbells is going to be looking like in Starksville. It's going to be a movie. I think Mississippi State finds a way to win. I think this game will be close, but I will not be surprised if Arizona State pulls it out. They have Sam Leavitt. Sam Leavitt is, in my opinion, one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country. He's a gamer. Arizona State lost 1 game with him as a starter. No, they lost 0 games with him as a starter, last year. So we'll see what happens. Breaking down our final game, we have the Big Ten and the SEC on ABC. We have number 15 Michigan going on the road against the number 18 Oklahoma Sooners. This is what we want in college football. These are the type of games that we are looking for. We want these. This is what we want. This is what we want. We want to see Michigan go on the road against Oklahoma. We want to see Georgia go on the road against Boston College. I'm just making it up. We want to see Florida go up to Washington. I'm getting emotional. Excuse me. We want to see Oklahoma go on the road. We just want to see these good games. And that's what we're getting. And I'm so happy this game is going to be on ABC. Unbelievable game. I am leaning Oklahoma for one reason only. And that's my guy right here, number 10, John Mateer. You see the numbers. You see the damage. You see what he's about. You see what my guy's about. You see what John Mateer is about. He's a gamer. He's a baller. You see what he does. He does damage. Wherever he has been at, he's done damage. Last year at Washington State, unbelievable. Unbelievable last year at Washington State. Unbelievable last year at Washington State. Comes into Oklahoma with his offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, comes in. They bring in Jaden Ott from Cal. You get their receivers healthy, and you get Michigan week 2 of the season. I think this is going to be an incredible game. I think these are 2 different styles, and I think this is a style that fits Oklahoma, right? Oklahoma, for the last couple of years with Brent Venables, they have been trying to assume a physical presence. They have been trying to let the country know, yes, we're in the SEC, but we're not a Big 12 defense. We're not a second tier defense. We have elite guys on different levels of our defense. We saw last year with Danny Stutzman, with Billy Bowman. This year, David Stone early has been playing unbelievable. So I think this is the type of game that this is the type of game that Brett Venable wants in Norman. This type of game he wants. This type of game he wants. And I will not be surprised if this game gets a little ugly, because I think Oklahoma has the firepower on offense. I truly believe Oklahoma has the skill set. They have the guys in that skill position room to make things go. And a big reason is number 9, Keontez Lewis. Okay? He's a big reason why. 6'2", 197, East St. Louis, Illinois. Like, Oklahoma has guys all over the field. Oklahoma has a tight end that turned linebackers, playing tight end now. Like, there's playmakers at every level for Oklahoma. But at the same time, I don't want to take anything away from this Michigan defense, because Wink Martindale is able to coach. He's able to get the best out of his players. He's able to just coach defense at a very high level. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see John Mateer struggling early because he's seeing things he's never seen before. But in any case, I think Oklahoma finds a way to win this game. I think Oklahoma this year, I said this on TikTok. I think Brent Venables is the most aware coach we have in college football. He knew his offense was one of the worst in the country. He went ahead and hired the most competent assistant available. He had quarterback situations, had a quarterback problem. He went and got the best quarterback available. He had running back problems. He went and got the best running back available. So I think he's aware of the issues he had last year, and I think it's going to be a major strength. Bryce Underwood has never played in SEC country. All right, he's never played in SEC country. He's never seen anything like this. So I wouldn't be surprised too as well if you're Oklahoma, if you're playing defense, if you're trying to make this young quarterback, hurt. Right? Justice Haynes, this is going to be his second time going against this Oklahoma defense. Second, less than a year. He was just at Alabama last year. Let's see his recent games. Okay, let's see 2024. What's that? Let's see 2024 for Justice Haynes. It's Oklahoma. 3 carries, 18 yards. So, last week he had 159 yards. So I think Oklahoma has a battle on their hands. We'll see what happens. I like Oklahoma in this game. I think they're the better team. I think they have more firepower, and I think Brent Venables, John Mateer, Ben Arbuckle on this offense, they find a way to get it figured out. They get the big time win at home, and they start the season 2-0. Thank you guys so much. I need to go get ready. I've done packing. Love you guys. God bless. Keep liking, keep commenting, keep sharing. I love you guys. God bless. Peace.